Part 3, hello. Yeah, you have just maybe been struggling to find the certainty with a lot of things of like, do I want this in the long term? I don't know. I don't really, just some sort of struggle there. So, heads up. I mean, this is coming. Something is coming towards you where you're going to maybe have one look at it or one significant moment with it, and you're going to know, I want this in my life for a very long time, and I think it's going to be very special. And it just feels like something you're going to be very, very, very happy and thankful about. And it feels like it's a long time coming for you to experience something like this. Whatever it may be, it is, rest assured, going to bring you it's going to bring you something that you've needed for a long time. It's not just a want, it's not just a matter of wanting this. I feel like it's a lot bigger than that. Like, your heart has needed this, is what I'm hearing. So, let's get into some more messages. The way I'm getting these following messages is I have this word search notebook, very big, and I'm going to shuffle it to a random page and see what words want to pop out. So we have dreamland. Interesting. Dreamland. Dreams, that's the third time the word dreams shows up for you. We have the word heart, once again, the heart pendant, and your heart that we were just talking about. Soul and spirit were the first words that popped out at me, so soul and spirit. Peaceful. Lonely. Lonely spirit, peaceful soul is popping out at me. Those like words connected to one another. Lonely spirit, peaceful soul. I wonder if there's some sacrifice that you made at some point between something that would liven up your spirit, something that would excite you and keep you on your toes and just make you smile and laugh and make you feel alive. You've had to choose between that or a calm soul. It's very interesting. It's kind of like you've been forced to choose between the two when humans are meant to access both whenever they need one or the other. So remember what you're coming into, and part of this change that you've been making for yourself is going to help you invite in equal parts a peaceful living and an exciting living, depending on what you need in the moment. And I feel like you've just not had the accessibility for that in recent times because of that thing, that unnameable thing that we talked about earlier that has been just getting on your nerves or affecting you very, very deeply it seems like for a significant amount of time. So Spirit wants you to know that you can call on either feeling whenever you need it. So if one day you're just feeling just so restless and like everything's overwhelming, you can invite your peaceful soul. If on another day, maybe it's the next day, you're feeling very bored and you just feel like you're not in your skin, you're not in your body, you're not having fun, you can allow that to come in. This lively spirit. You don't have to choose one or the other. despite what has been taught to you or what your circumstances have led you to believe. So this is amazing. You're walking into better circumstances where you don't have to choose between those two. We also have shadow and human sticking out as something to go together. This is kind of a connected message, but maybe you've just been feeling like, for quite a while I'm hearing, something that's made you quite a bit sad and not like yourself. You've maybe felt like the way you show up daily, maybe the way you interact with others, you kind of feel like you're only half of yourself and like you're living as a shadow of yourself. It's like, I feel like I'm not really acting any, I don't feel like I'm wearing a mask and pretending to be someone else, but I also don't quite feel like I'm fully me, and I don't know, I feel like you've tried all these things to really show up as yourself, but you still feel like you're only 50% of yourself. It's because of that thing. I'm telling you now that Spirit keeps calling your attention back to that bothersome thing that, quote unquote, keeps coming back and doesn't hold power over you, but for some reason feels like it does and it shouldn't be in your life anymore. That thing, which I'm just going to keep referring to it as that thing because, gosh, it could be so many things for different people, but we're going to call it that bothersome thing. That, too, here's your confirmation, affects the way how much you feel like yourself. Because I feel like your mind may be seeing it for some reason as like a race to fixing yourself and just perfecting yourself, so that it's blurred the lines between like just you having accurate perception of the way you're showing up. But not for long you're going to be feeling like a shadow of yourself. It's already powerful and special enough that you haven't fully strayed from being yourself. You know, if you said, I feel like I'm not, or like you just know that you're trying to be somebody else and trying so hard to change yourself into something you're not, that's a whole other story. But here it's coming up as you're almost there but not quite, you're there and you're not, 50-50. There's like, I'm seeing like a person, but the person's like transparent, you can see through the person, and I feel like a lot of people, because of this circumstance and what, you know, has held you back, I just heard again, like no longer holding you back. Its grip on you is, I'm getting a visual of like somebody's, like a ring stuck on somebody's finger and they have to use like butter to like slowly get out the ring. So could be something that for a long time you were very, very loyal, super loyal and committed to the point of it hurting you. And it was out of the goodness of your heart, but no longer is this holding you back. And it's interesting that the visual came through with a ring and getting yourself unstuck. I think you're in the process of getting yourself unstuck. And it's like sliding off your finger. It's sliding off your finger slowly but surely, but you're already in the process of jamming it out. But because of that thing that you stayed loyal to for a long time, I'm hearing that a lot of people had access to your energy very easily. I don't think it was to the point of like significant harm being done to you, but maybe feeling depleted and anxious and worried about things that you're kind of over worrying about may have kind of flooded you suddenly because your energy was kind of pouring in and out very easily. And I don't think it was a matter of like a lack of protection, because a lot of you may be very, protective over yourself. You may be in touch with certain guides and talk to them very often, asking them to protect you from others' energies, but it's not because your protection isn't working or something like that. It's just there's like a certain wound or sensitivity that is related to that bothersome thing. It's kind of like a little hole in you. So if something reminded you of that thing, it's like your energy kind of leaked out and other energy wormed itself in. Gosh, I know this all sounds super like metaphorical and like strange, but it's coming through in a very, very interesting way. It's like, think of yourself as like an open wound. If something in your daily life, you're like talking to a friend and you're like la 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 la, you're doing okay, but then that friend mentions something that triggers this bothersome thing or reminds you of that bothersome thing, it's like, oof, all of a sudden your mood gets down, your personality alters itself a little bit, like you just feel depleted and you're like brought back into this state of this thing that essentially did hold power over you for a long time and affected you very much. And this thing still does affect you. I will say, like, don't feel like you're less because it still affects you, or you still feel like it has power over you. We talked about this in part 1, but like, it doesn't affect your decision making anymore, which is a blessing, and it's because you're aware of it. However, I still think you experience and endure so much because of it. So it's kind of like an open wound for you the closer you are to it, and the more interactions you have with something that is related to it or kind of brings you back to it, which really does sound like trauma. So for a lot of you, it could be a traumatic event, experience, environment, things of that nature. So yeah, if you at times felt like, why am I so bothered by this right now, or why is it hard for me to trust this person, or why am I not fully enjoying socializing, or why do I still feel lacking when this feels pretty good, it does relate to this thing is kind of a weak spot for you. And again, the closer you are to it, the more kind of you'll feel affected how do I explain this? It's like okay, let's think of this bothersome thing as like a bubble. When you step out of the bubble, it's like the veil lifts and you feel a lot better. But then, you're still dealing with this thing and managing it in your day-to-day. So even when you're outside of that thing and things are a lot better, little triggers pop up because you still have to come back to that thing eventually. It's like at the end of the day, you're still going back to that bubble. But that's the wonderful thing about this message, is that you are leaving this bubble permanently, like significantly decreasing your need to be in this bubble, or altogether, like, you're not going to come back to that bubble. I hope that makes sense. So during times where you still have to come back to it, you're not fully yourself, and that's okay. You're not expected to be, because this thing is so difficult and you're enduring so much. But like I said, it does kind of weaken your sensitivity. Point being, or sorry, it doesn't weaken your sensitivity. I mean, weakens like your receptivity to like energy and things like that. So fast forward to you being in a place where this thing no longer affects you significantly. You're going to be seeing a lot of benefits, such as feeling a stronger hold of your energy, being less triggered, being less, like, the wound is now healing. The wound is no longer open and there, because you have this constant thing in your mind of, oh, I have to come back to that later today, or whatever. So that is something to look forward to, and a really, really beautiful reassurance, is that you're just going to be reaping a lot of benefits from this.